My name is Emma, and I'm 28 years old. I live in a small apartment, nestled in the heart of this bustling city. On the outside, everything seems perfect. I have a stable job as a content writer, a circle of friends who check in from time to time, and a family that supports me. Yet, on the inside, there's a void, a feeling that I'm simply going through the motions of life without truly living it. My apartment is cozy, but it feels more like a cage. The noise of the city outside constantly reminds me of how disconnected I feel from the world around me. My relationship with my parents is distant, strained with unsaid words and unresolved tensions. It feels like we've become strangers to each other, and I'm not sure how to fix it. As for my friends, I keep them at arm's length. I've built walls around myself, never letting anyone get too close. I want more than this routine, more than the safety of what I know. I long for a life full of passion, something that makes my heart race, but I'm stuck. Fear keeps me in place, torn between safety and the possibility of something greater. I dream of adventure, but every time I consider stepping out of my comfort zone, doubt pulls me back. There's a constant nagging feeling that I'm missing something, that I'm meant for more. But how do I make a change? I don't have the answers, but I know I can't keep living like this. That day started out like any other. I sat at my desk, the hum of the city blending with the constant noise in my head. Same routine, same feelings of being stuck. But then everything shifted. The phone rang. I glanced at the screen. It was an unknown number. At first I thought nothing of it, but something inside me urged me to pick up. "Hello." My voice was small, uncertain. A deep, calm voice came through the line. It was strange, almost urgent. "Emma, I have a proposal for you," the man said, his tone serious. "A business arrangement. Marriage for money." My first reaction was to dismiss it as a prank. I nearly hung up, but something in his voice stopped me. There was an odd sincerity in his words that made me hesitate. He continued, explaining how we could both benefit. A large sum of money if I agreed. It all seemed absurd. Who just offers something like that? But there was something about his words, something that made me wonder if this was the opportunity I'd been waiting for. My heart raced, excitement mingling with doubt. "Think it over," he said before the call ended. I sat there for a moment, the phone still in my hand, his words echoing in my mind. Could I trust this man? What was the catch? I felt a strange tension in my chest. Part of me wanted to forget it, to push it aside. But another part wanted to know more. Could this unexpected offer change my life? I had no idea what to do next. But over the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about it. The weight of that proposal hung over me like a fog I couldn't shake. I was being pulled in two directions. The safe, predictable life I knew, and the chance at something bigger, something unknown. I tried talking to my friends, but no one seemed to understand. Rachel, my closest friend, was the first to notice how distracted I was. She could tell something was off. "Emma, are you seriously considering this? A marriage for money?" "That's insane," she said, her voice full of concern. "You don't know anything about this guy. You could be putting yourself in danger." But even as she said it, a part of me felt the exact opposite. Yes, there was fear. But there was also a strange pull toward the unknown. I was on the brink of something that could change everything. The more Rachel warned me, the more I questioned my own judgment. What if I was overthinking it? What if this was the opportunity one had been waiting for? What if it wasn't just about the money? The thought of financial freedom haunted me. I stared at my bank account, the numbers barely enough to cover my bills, let alone anything resembling the dreams I had. I imagined a life without the constant worry, where I could travel without hesitation, enjoy the little luxuries that always seemed out of reach. The money he promised could give me that, could give me the chance to break free from the cycle I had been stuck in for years. But then there was the fear of stepping into something I didn't fully understand, something I couldn't control. What if I was walking straight into a trap? What if Lucas was hiding something darker behind that calm, reassuring voice? The tension inside me grew as I wrestled with these thoughts. Should I trust him? Could I risk everything for something that seemed too good to be true? When I finally met Lucas, it only complicated things further. The moment he entered the coffee shop, I felt his presence. Undeniable, like he was someone who knew exactly what he wanted. He was charming, articulate, and made everything sound so easy. He reassured me that everything would be legally sound, that there was nothing to worry about. But even as he spoke, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. His eyes, there was something there. A flicker that didn't match his calm exterior. It was like he was hiding something. Every time he smiled or spoke confidently, I couldn't help but wonder if there was a darker side to this proposal. Was it really just about money, or was there something else he wasn't telling me? The more I learned about him, the more questions I had. I wanted to trust him, but every instinct in me screamed for caution. What was I getting myself into? Was this the kind of chance I could risk, or would this decision haunt me forever? I didn't know if I could make it through this, but I also didn't know if I could walk away. The day of the wedding arrived, and it felt like time had slowed down. My heart raced in my chest, pounding so loudly I thought everyone could hear it. The dress, the flowers, the people. It all seemed like a blur, like I wasn't truly there, like I was watching someone else's life unfold. A wedding should be about love, about joy, but all I felt was dread. I stood in front of the mirror, staring at my reflection, wondering how I had gotten here. I had agreed to this crazy, impossible situation. And now, as I walked down the aisle, it felt all too real. The floor beneath me felt like it was made of glass, ready to shatter at any moment. I wasn't just walking to marry a man. I was walking into a life that could tear everything apart. Just as the ceremony was about to begin, Lucas's lawyer suddenly pulled me aside. My stomach dropped. What now? His voice was low, serious, almost too calm. There's something you need to know, he said, his eyes darting around the room. This marriage isn't just for money. There's a far bigger, far more dangerous deal tied to it. Lucas. He'd been hiding his true intentions. I felt my world tilt. I was frozen, unable to move or even think. Everything I had believed, everything I had convinced myself of, suddenly felt like a lie. Lucas wasn't the man I thought he was. I had no idea what I had walked into, and now I was trapped in something far darker than I could have ever imagined. I had two choices: walk away and lose everything, or continue and risk my life for something I barely understood. The weight of it crushed me. This wasn't just a mistake. This was a life-altering decision, and I had to make it in the next few moments. In that instant, something inside me snapped. The fear, the anger, the betrayal, it all collided inside me. I couldn't just stand there and let this happen. I wasn't going to be a pawn in someone else's game. I had already made too many compromises. Without thinking, I turned to Lucas. My voice trembled with emotion. Tell me the truth, Lucas. What is this really about? What am I getting into? My heart was pounding, but I wasn't backing down. Not anymore. The look in his eyes shifted. It was as if I had pulled back the curtain, and suddenly everything was exposed. He wasn't expecting this. And as he opened his mouth to speak, I realized that this was only the beginning. What I learned next would change everything. The confrontation with Lucas changed everything. It shook me to my core, but somehow it also woke something inside me. The truth, the ugly, painful truth about his motives, was more than I could have ever prepared for. But in that moment something shifted. I wasn't the same person I had been before. I had faced my fears, my doubts, and I was standing tall. I realized that even though I made a mistake, even though I had let myself get tangled in something I didn't fully understand, I could still take control. I could still change my future. The marriage didn't bring me the happiness I had hoped for, but it gave me something more powerful. the clarity to see what truly mattered. Looking back, I realized that I had been afraid of making the wrong choice, afraid of being vulnerable. But that vulnerability, that fear, it wasn't a weakness. It was part of the journey. It taught me to trust myself, to not be defined by past mistakes. As I move forward, I feel a sense of peace. My future is mine, and I've learned to embrace it with hope. My path isn't set in stone anymore. I have the power to shape it, and that's all that matters now. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.